Hey guys, so KMS just announced or released a pretty massive update, mostly focusing on quality of life. And there's been a post made on the subreddit. I will have it linked to the description of pretty much all the main changes that people care about. So, apart from, the standard check-in events and yada yada yada. So I'm curious, and let's see. So the first thing, XP from level 200 to 260 has been cut in half. Wow. And that means roughly the XP it takes to get to 250 will now take you to 260. The symbols from Arcane and Grandis will be increased, double for Arcane and 1.5x for Grandis. There's now going to be a 60 slot bag for crafting materials. And then there's new bags for boss loot symbols, training items. If I had to guess, this is obviously going to be a bag that you just put all your symbols in instead of them going in your equip inventory or use. And boss loot, maybe it's going to be like how they have the boss loot storage and stuff. And then training items, it could be anything. It could be buffs to miso gear. I'm not sure about that. But nonetheless, new bags. 2 times removed. New standard is 3 times. So 2 times is a thing of the past. Skill effects. Your skill effects can be turned on to have the effect be in front of the boss. Skill effects or map environment effects. Okay, so you can have your effects go behind. So you can play with higher opacity if you want, basically, without it completely blocking the boss. Skill cooldowns, icon, time remaining. You can now choose between seconds or minutes, seconds when reviewing buff skill duration in your icons. Okay. And then when it goes from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it'll show the seconds instead of it blinking like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then in practice mode, they added VIP buffs. The red, like 1 hour buff. And then there's quite a bit of boss changes, mostly to make things easier, or I guess you can say more fair. And one of the things is Saren. Now you have a death count in 8 in every mode, whereas previously it was only, I think, in hard and extreme. Or maybe only in extreme, I'm not sure. Phase 1 nerf. The pillars will no longer cause status effect. The banana attack moves faster and the AoE spam should be less. Okay, so yeah, the big problem was the pillars in Phase 1. Phase 2 Dawn with the deers. The orbs of confusion removed are possible to kill with damage. Not 100% sure. Okay, so the orbs are the ones that spawn in the middle and essentially reverse key you, and if I feel like it's almost impossible to dodge a lot of the time if you don't realize that they're going to attack you as they spawn. So that getting nerf is good. HP heal reduced, deer attack frequency reduced. So deers attack less, the HP Saren heals is less. Death count is 8 in all modes. So that means like easy and normal got 8, because I'm pretty sure chaos and extreme are already 8. Artifacts require less shots to turn off. So I'm guessing instead of 2 shots for the UFO and ball, it's 1, and instead of 3 shots for the left and right, the laser and arrows, it's gonna probably be 2. Purple eye beam has a longer cast animation, so you can dodge, and the safe zone beneath his head is larger. Interesting, nice. His claw swipes don't knock you back. Wow, FMA should be easier. Left laser stun adjustments. So the left laser will probably stun you less, if I had to guess, is what they mean by that. Now, calling adjustments are, I think, probably the biggest, because I think a lot of people have problems with calling these days. So the bird in Phase 1 and calling in Phase 2 can be hit while flying. They're not invincible, and can be bound midair. So a lot of time you might miss time your bind as she casts the fly, and she's gonna fly and then get bound to where she flies to. Same with the bird. Target attacks are easier to dodge. Floor electric puddle stun duration reduced by half. Phase 2 and 3, when a boss is bound, the teleport map, the floor claws, turned off. Okay, because that actually almost made me fail a Kaling run once. And I think it actually did make me fail as well one time. Kaling cheese nerf change. So this is the big one. Change so that the statue effect auto applies to whatever zone you're in. You cannot attack other pearls in other zones. Attack on other pearls, all miss. This effectively gets rid of class imbalance that can multi-target well versus single target well. Ascend skills are exempt from this restriction. So that means you have to go in each individual thing in phase 3 to kill it. So you can't kill bird from the middle or tiger from the middle. Which, yikes. That's definitely going to make phase 3 a lot harder because you typically want to avoid going in those zones as much as possible since you can get knocked back pretty easy and stunned pretty easy in bird and tiger. And because it's just going to be a lot harder of a fight, they reduced the HP in phase 3. How much, we don't know. At least I don't. And limbo adjustments. You can use cleanse while in the center origin. Phase 3 ceiling adjusted to be higher, so it's probably going to be a lot easier to dodge the giant shark in the white phase in phase 3. Jupiter was adjusted so that certain boss patterns were more visibly clearly animated. Common boss improvements remove all attacks. Ignore / attack reflection patterns from bosses such as Pink Bean. Wow, interesting. So they're finally getting rid of that after all these years. Damage reflect and weapon cancel and magic cancel are a thing of the past. It really is 2026. If a boss has dash attack like Saren, sorry, and they hit a wall during the animation, the hitbox will immediately go away when that wall is hit. Ah, so that's interesting because typically when a boss dashes into a wall, it'll dash into the wall and then kind of like, it looks like a little rubber band back, and you can essentially duck the initial attack, but that rubber band still has a, like when the boss jolts out of the corner a little bit, it still has an active hitbox, so you might have to duck a little bit longer than you think. So that's good because now you'll just be able to duck and dodge the initial attack. So this is another big one. Skill ring adjustments. You can now wear both Continuum Ring and ROR at the same time. There's no more going to be ring swapping. Instead, the extra ring slot is only available for level 4 or Continuum Ring. So there's going to be an extra ring slot strictly for these two rings. Only Continuum Ring and RR can be polished with the new system, so no more weapon jump, risk taker, etc., etc. Rings will now be split into two categories: active, ROR, and passive, Continuum Ring. So I'm guessing you'll be able to use like weapon jump in place of ROR until you get an ROR in this category. You can wear one of each category at the same time. Yeah, both Continuum and RR. So Continuum Ring at level 6 is now 100% passive skill. It gives a permanent 14% attack and 54 boss damage instead of 195 boss damage every 12 seconds. Interesting. So I'm assuming at level 5 it'll be 12% attack and maybe like 50 boss damage, which is what I have. Well, I don't have a level 5 ring anymore, but I'll be able to switch essentially my level 5 weapon jump ring to it. Ring of Restraint at level 6 works exactly like before, but the attack is 85% down from 95%. So I'm assuming level 5 will be 75%. Overall, even with the individual ring nerfs, wearing both is still a big gain. Yeah, that is pretty massive. essentially a permanent 14%, or I guess if you have a level 5 Consume Ring. I'm assuming it's going to be 12% attacking 50 boss. That is quite huge. That is massive. And now, with Grindstones, you can now stack 10 for a 100% chance, and you have to pay a 5 bill miso fee when polishing. And the same thing for the level 6 ring, but you need 20 stones and a 20 bill miso cost. If you have other rings, weapon jump, risk taker, etc., level 5 or 6. So I have, for example, I have a weapon jump level 5. It'll be refunded the stones and miso to 100% another ring. So I'll get 10 stones and 5 bill because I have already a weapon jump level 5. And then I can put that onto my continuum ring because my continuum ring is currently level 4. Oh, it says right here. That's exactly what I said. Keep in mind, you can still transfer any level 5 or 6 rings to another skill ring at level 4 or higher for the cost of 2 bill. Okay, so yeah, that's essentially what I did for my ROR, for my continuum ring. And Mugong, Training Grounds, and Balance. KMS intends to record data by doing DPM testing in the Training Grounds. KMS will gather data from players that are higher than 300 mil combat power with at least an Kaling solo. Why is the song so loud? Sorry. Sorry about that. So they intend, KMS will gather data from players that are higher than 300 mil combat power with at least an Ecalo solo to inform future balance decisions. So long as not just bursting and whacking a boss randomly and submitting data, it's doing proper DPM battle analysis cycles using standard things like origin cycle, origin plus ascent cycle, 6-minute BA, etc. Interesting. I wonder how that will actually play off in the future. Will they actually get balancing right? Because I'll tell you right now, balancing in GMS is all kinds of whack with Kana Hayato and Lin now. Very interesting. Added a viewing area within the training grounds to view detailed logs of other DPM BA submissions. It shows everything like what skills were pressed in what order, damage dealt, skill damage breakdowns, the character's legion, gear, champion buffs, everything. Wow. That's crazy. Even shows a replay on screen with the hotkeys shown during the replay so you can see exactly what the player did. Wow, so this is going to be quite detailed. For the gathered DPS data, it will also be published on the KMS Open API that players can have access to the same damage data as the developers. Wow. Yeah, GMS doesn't have Open API. I don't know if we ever will. At this rate. Yikes. This is to overall reduce mistakes in balance patching and also increase trust in developers by being more open. Okay, so can we trust them? Can we trust them now to balance it correctly? I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard game to balance, but we'll see. So, flames and cubes. So this is another huge one. All cubes and flames become before and after. So you still roll the same stats with red flames and rainbow flames, but you always choose before and after. So now this is a new addition to KMS. Boss cube drops become before and after. So KMS doesn't have hard and solid cube drops right now from their boss drops like GMS. It's going to be a new cube for bonus potential and regular potential. And when you use them, they will be added a 30-day trade restriction to the item. And this trade restriction is only on the new boss cubes that KMS just got with this update. And the cubes are meant for self-upgrading and progression, not meant to be used for profiting off of items. So I wonder if that means a significant amount of these cubes will drop from the bosses. I haven't seen quite how many cubes you get or anything like that, but I'm hoping that means a significant amount of these cubes will drop. We'll see though. So I added a way to reroll flames with miso. Who knows if we get this in GMS? You don't even have the miso for cubing. Yeah. Come on, man. Give us the freaking miso cubing. Okay, so now we have Starforce. Updated the system so you can add extra spares to Miso to guaranteed a certain star restore up to 22. The Miso cost scales with the item level. If I use 4 arcane capes and 24.2 bill, I can guarantee a 22 star restore. Okay, so I have a picture of that somewhere. Okay, so yeah, here's this. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but let's say, for example, I am at 15 star on this arcane cape, and I blow it up trying to go from 16. I don't know if it works this way, if you can restore past the star you're on, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you can just Star Force an item, buy 4 spares, pay 24.2 bill for an arcane, and go straight to 22 star. Or how it could work is if the item booms at 17, you'll only have the option to restore it from 15, 16, or 17. I'm not sure which of the scenarios it is, but it's probably one of those two. So Starforce has, better way of restoring your item, which I think is quite good. Quite good. Alright, and then now is automatic upgrades. Add a system that keeps the game rolling until it hits desired lines, which I think is this. This here. So, this is going to be extremely good for Heroic World, I'll say that much. GMS Interactive World, you really don't have that much long of a cube sessions for the most part, but nonetheless, it's still here. You essentially put auto enchant until you see any of these lines or better, and it'll go until you run out of miso or you run out of, I guess, cubes or anything. And auto enchant for star forcing is over here, and auto enchant for, I'm guessing this is flames, over here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And then here it is in action. So as you can see, Kobe has his Berserk, and he's trying for 33% strength. And it'll keep rolling until he eventually runs out of miso here. And here it comes. This is his miso countdown here. And boom, he's ran out. So now you can just set it up and take a nap. Especially if you're one of those people with like thousands of cubes to use. Now here's the new transfer scroll, which I think is quite honestly a huge buff for Interactive World. It calls it a nuclear bomb. So there's a flame transfer scroll for 49k NX. I'm not sure if you can buy this with Maple points or not, but you can essentially transfer flames to another item, and the item must be the same. And I'm assuming that the item before also gets removed. I could be wrong on that, but say for example I have a Will Spellbook, and my current flame is 70 and 6, and I happen to find a Will Spellbook in the auction house that's 100 stat and 6%. I can then spend 49k NX to transfer that 106 to my book. In the process, I think that old book would get destroyed. I think. It doesn't say here, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked when KMS had these scrolls before. And now here's another one. Main potential transfer scroll for 99k NX. Again, unsure if you can buy this with Maple points or not. I'm not sure. You can transfer the main potential of an item to another item. Must be the same. And then there's an example here. I have a 33 Eternal Top, but it's 23 star, scrolled, flame, bonus potential. It's extremely difficult to buy better potential and remake everything. So you can buy a new say triple prime top that's clean, doesn't have bonus potential or scroll or anything, and then it just transfer that straight over for a 100k NX fee, which I think is quite good because, for example, I have a good bonus pot on like my Dreaming Bell and Slime Ring, but the main pot's 33. So if I find a 36 or 39% Slime Ring or Dreaming Belt that's like clean, I can buy that and upgrade that way instead of having to buy those clean items, redo the bonus pot, redo the scroll, redo the Starforcing and everything, which I think is quite good. Uh, but again, I don't know if you can buy this with Maple points or you have to buy it with NX, but it is quite a small fee to be able to transfer, in my opinion, because you don't have to redo like everything. Now, tradability. Total Control and Saren emblems are tradable with P-Socks. Wow, so I can see a lot of people coming back for this update to sell off their emblems and Total Controls. That's for sure. Soul Hectate skins, so you can pay 1 bill to unlock them. 1 bill is for all of them at once. They wanted to do this with Soul Hectate launch, but they were out of time. So Soul Hectate is the new common core that we'll get in our summer update, and it has like a little summon that attacks, and here are the skins for it. So you have like this little chick. Looks like you have whatever this is, a dragon, a sword, and I think that's that new level 280 boss. But yeah, cool skins. Soul Janus change. Soul Janus is just a flat damage number across all classes. This caused some imbalance in Soul Janus damage. Now the numbers will be adjusted so that weaker damage from classes will hit harder. Nice. Soul Janus buff to the weaker classes. New Hexa Mastery Core. This core upgrades the common 5th job skill cores to Hexa level. Furry of the Wild, Gilly the Aerial, Infantry, Phalanx, Shadow Walker. Oh, more details in April. Interesting. Hexa Mastery Core. 6-job Mastery Core for the common 5th job skills. What does Bishop get for the common 5th job skills? I don't even remember. Unreliable memory. But yeah, anyways, that's the update. What do you guys think? I'll have the link in the description. As always, thank you for watching. And I don't know. We can expect to see this update after our summer update ends, essentially. Our fall update. Because KMS is getting it now in March. Very interesting. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.